Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Let's talk about Floyd Mayweather's legacy real quick, okay? Let's talk about that. Shout out to Quentin Cassell. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He made a video recently discussing Floyd Mayweather's win against Canelo Alvarez and how it is a legacy fight for him, or it was supposed to be, okay? It is a legacy fight for Floyd, you know? Right now, we're still within a year of when that fight took place. So you gotta understand, it is a legacy fight. It might not, you know, a lot of people might not approve the win because of the outcome of the fight, because Canelo Alvarez disappointed, not Floyd. Floyd did what he was supposed to do. He took a good fighter, a really good fighter, and made him look bad, okay? Q in the video was just basically saying that, you know, he doesn't get the credit he deserves for beating a guy like Canelo, because back then, according to YouTube channels, he named several YouTube channels that said that they wanted to see that fight. Now, at the time, I really wasn't on YouTube, okay? And then when I came, that was like my first prediction video, okay? That was like one of the first or second videos I did when I came on. But even when I made that video, I wasn't subscribed to anyone, you know. I basically started my YouTube channel because my boy had a YouTube channel already, and he was the only one that I was really following, you know. There was only like a couple people that I subscribed to within the first few months. So I didn't really know everyone's opinion on that. But my opinion on the fight, I never thought Floyd was going to take that fight. I always said, like, he wouldn't fight Canelo. Canelo's just too big. He's too strong, you know. In the prediction video, I said Floyd would win the fight. You know, that Floyd was going to win the fight easy. But I never thought Floyd would take that risk, okay? I was very surprised when he took it. And I thought it was a legacy fight, because even though Canelo didn't fight all of the top fighters at 154 and Austin Trout was the only guy he did beat, I was impressed with that win. Austin Trout was coming off of the win against Cotto, a guy that was supposed to fight Canelo Alvarez, okay? And I gave him a lot of credit for beating Austin Trout and Shane Mosley, even though he was older and whatever. I still thought Canelo's had the boxing skills to possibly beat Floyd, you know. I thought there was a chance, and many people thought it was. That's why I had 2.3 pay-per-view buys, because people thought that Canelo was going to be the one, right? That's why they marketed it as the one, you know. That's the slogan that they use to market the fight, like Canelo is going to be the one to finally beat Floyd, okay, or at least give him a good fight. All right, now that Floyd dominated him, it's like, well, you know, a lot of people feel that Canelo wasn't that good, and that's not true, okay? Because Erislandy Lara is a guy that a lot of people felt Canelo was ducking for a very long time, okay, including myself. And we already see the transition going on. Now, if Canelo fought Lara a year or two ago, it would have had a different outcome. But because Lara was outboxing Canelo, see, we already see a transition here, because he's getting outboxed by Lara, and we see adjustments in Canelo's game within the fight, midway through the fight. Canelo's going to the body. Canelo's being more aggressive. In the Floyd fight, he got outboxed, and that was it. It was nothing he could do about it. He wasn't even more aggressive because he was afraid to get punched in the face. In the Lara fight, he was like, you know what, I'm tired of this. He started pressing the action, and this is what gave him rounds. You know, I don't think he won the fight, but on paper, he won the fight. You know, it is going to be a legacy fight if Canelo goes to continue and beat other fighters, other good fighters in his division. Okay, and he's very young. It's limits to what he can actually do from here on. All right, I already seen improvements in his game, and I think it is a legacy fight. Okay. And you got to remember, you know, if you look in the history, if you look back at fighters like Muhammad Ali, you look at Ray Leonard, you look at Ray Robertson, there was people that disliked these fighters back then, okay? There's people that didn't like Muhammad Ali, okay? There's people that hate Ray Leonard and stuff like that because, you know, he actually beat Hagler. You know, I didn't think he won the fight, but listen, look at their legacy now. Look at Muhammad Ali. People feel that he's the greatest. People feel that Ray Leonard is one of the greatest, okay? Or he's the one guy from the past that often gets compared to Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people say, well, if Floyd fought Ray Leonard, he would have got knocked out. You know, you see these guys on ESPN, they argue about that all the time. You know, that's what the casual fans like to argue about. Ray Leonard, you know, what I knocked out Floyd and, you know, such and such. But because Ray Leonard is one of those guys, you know, he has a lot of charisma. A lot of people love that guy. And now he's looked at as a legend. You know, now Muhammad Ali is viewed as the same thing. You know, legends, greatest, you know, they get tossed up there as the greatest ever. And I think Floyd is going to have that same thing. You know, I think the same thing's going to happen to him. I think 10, 20 years down the line, I think people are going to consider Floyd to be one of the greatest all time, depending on how, you know, not only depending on how the rest of his career go, but even now, I think he already solidified his greatness to a certain extent. And he can even extend it by beating a Manny Pacquiao or, you know, whoever, you know. And let's get quick to, let me talk about that, because I think the two things that might hurt Floyd is if he doesn't fight Manny Pacquiao, okay, being that is his direct rival, like that's his direct rival. That's the one guy that everyone has wanted him to face for years now, going on 6 years, and losing, you know, because Floyd marketed himself as being an undefeated fighter. You know, he's done it in a way where it's like, if he loses now, see, if he had lost a few years ago, it would have been different, because if he lost, he would have made up for those losses, you know, or that loss, or those losses. You know, Bernard Hopkins has plenty of losses, and people already put him up there as one of the greatest fighters. I mean, I've heard people put him in their top 10, especially if he had beaten Kovalev. But look how many losses he has, you know. But Floyd is, being that he's ending his career soon, or possibly it could be these last 2 fights, or it could be in another 5 fights for now. We don't know when Floyd is really going to retire, because he's still fighting at a high level. He could be, you know, if he ends his career on a loss, people are going to remember that loss, or a fight before, you know, if he fights someone and loses and then gets 1 win and then retires, people are going to remember that loss. It's just too soon. But if he had lost and then redeemed himself 5 fights later, it's like, all right, you know, he lost to this one guy, but he's still the greatest, or one of the greatest. He only had 1 loss, you know. So I think those are the only 2 things that could possibly hurt his legacy. But I think it's already solidified. It's just on how high you want to put it. If you want to put him in the greatest, then, you know, taking an L or not fighting Manny Pacquiao might, you know, and it's sad to say, unfortunately, the Manny Pacquiao fight is a big deal. It is a big deal. Not so much for Manny, because Manny could cut corners that Floyd can't cut. You know, Floyd fought Algieri and beat him the way Manny did, like he would have, it wouldn't have been a close fight. If he had went and dominated Algieri, people would have been crazy. All right, I would have been pissed off if he fought Algieri. All right, I was pissed off when he fought Robert Guerrero. If he fought Algieri, I would have been, listen, it would have been a different level of anger and frustration if Floyd went to fight Algieri. But Manny Pacquiao can take those fights and it's cool, you know, and that's why, that's when you see the biases, you know, that's when you see the biases. Like, Pacquiao's coming off of a win against Tim Bradley, undefeated Tim Bradley, and he goes on to fight Chris Algieri. Like, that's so many levels of, just because he beat Ruslan Provodnikov in a fight that it was a debatable who won that fight, you know. He got the crap beaten out of Ruslan Provodnikov. I mean, he still he won the fight, but, you know, I mean, that's not a big enough win to get, you know, yourself on pay-per-view like that. Not in my opinion. Against Manny Pacquiao, nah. All right. One more thing too I want to bring up is the black fighter thing. I know Devin Alexander recently said that on 78's channel. Let me say this, all right? I made a video discussing this, not really discussing this, because I was more talking about black fighters don't sell more than black fighters, you know, Floyd not fighting black fighters because it's just skill, you know. There are black fighters I want to see Floyd fight. I would love to see him fight Lara or Thurman or Bradley, even the Charlos, even Andre. I would love to see him fight some of these guys, you know, just because of their styles and stuff. But Devin Alexander, I want him to be the guy. I'm gonna tell you now, I wouldn't want Devin Alexander to be the example, man. And no, that's no disrespect. I say that in no disrespect, but I don't think Devin Alexander has any shot at beating fighting Floyd. And there hasn't been a point in my life where I wanted to see that fight. All right, I don't want to see that fight. You know, if Floyd doesn't get the fight with Pacquiao together and Devin goes on to beat Amir Khan, and Floyd fights Devin Alexander, you guys are gonna be mad after he beats Devin Alexander. You're gonna still be mad at Floyd. He's gonna beat Devin Alexander, and it's gonna be like, all right, well, we still want to see the Pacquiao fight. That's not gonna be a fight that is a legacy fight by no means in any way. It's not gonna be a legacy fight. Him beating Devin Alexander, it's not gonna be a legacy fight. All right, that's not gonna be a fight. Devin Alexander doesn't even have a puncher's chance. You know, and he definitely doesn't have the boxing skills to compete with Floyd. And I'm just saying that now because if that fight happens, you heard it from me here. You know, that's not a fight that I need to see. All right, that fight wouldn't prove anything to me. Okay, I wouldn't want him to be the example, not him. All right. Now, one last thing I want to bring up. Golovkin. Okay, Golovkin is the only guy that if Floyd were to face, I would say Floyd. I would say here on camera, I don't think Floyd is going to win this fight. I think Golovkin's going to win. That's the only fighter, guy all the way at 160. You know, there's guys that I think that would give Floyd some trouble in there or could possibly beat him. I think Thurman, I think Amir Khan, all right? It goes back to one of my first videos. I always thought Khan would bring a good fight to Floyd, okay? Because even though Khan has been knocked out before, I think the styles and Khan's speed would make an entertaining fight. Unlike Canelo, unlike a lot of the other guys that get frustrated with Floyd in there and they kind of shut down, Khan is one of those guys that's going to bring the fight to him regardless. He doesn't care. He's been knocked out before and he gets back in the ring and he fights the same way. All offense, okay? All offense. I love his offense. You know, I like his style. I think he's a great fighter to watch. Very entertaining. Let me say, he's not a great fighter, but he's a very entertaining fighter, and I would love to see the fight. You got the Charlos, you got Andrade, you got Lara. Those are the guys at 154 that I think would give James Kirkland would give Floyd a hard time. Okay, and at 160 is when you have Golovkin at 160, and Golovkin is the only fighter that if they were to fight, I don't think Floyd would win because Golovkin's. He has more than a puncher's chance. Like Keith Thurman has a puncher's chance, but Golovkin is like, Floyd would have to fight the perfect fight for him. And I don't know, I just don't know. Because every fighter makes mistakes in there. And Golovkin knocked out Gil while off balance, while getting hit with Gil's best shot in the fight. And he dropped Gil, with a counter punch where he was totally off balance. That guy has a power that's beyond just a good puncher or a big puncher. There's plenty of big punchers in the sport, but Golovkin is on another level when it comes to big punchers, and I think Floyd, I wouldn't want to see Floyd get knocked out by that guy. Now, if Floyd were to take the Golovkin fight, I mean, the limitations of like I said, Canelo's a legacy fight. Canelo's a legacy fight because he could go on to beat plenty of good fighters. But you beat Golovkin. I think Golovkin is even a better fighter than Canelo Alvarez. I think he's a better fighter than Canelo. And this guy has knocked out so many people. If Floyd were to go and beat Golovkin, that would be a legacy fight to me. Even better than Canelo. Even better than Manny Pacquiao. That's the danger of Floyd of losing that fight is on another scale than Manny Pacquiao. Not saying that Golovkin is a more skilled boxer, but the two weights and the sizes is totally different. It's not even comparable. All right, Manny's not knocking guys out. Golovkin's knocking everyone out with ease. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. That's the only one fighter. I bet against Floyd, but I've been burnt. I've been burnt before, and that's the only guy I would say that at this point. But anyway, Floyd, the point of the video is Floyd's legacy is solidified. And I think years down the line, people are going to realize that. And they don't give him enough credit because he's still boxing now. When we look back at him later on, I think I think people will respect him, you know? Even the haters, even some of the haters, all right? So, anyway, make sure you subscribe, and see you in the next video.